The Pokemon lore of Innocent and Lengthy? Oh my god. What the f is this? The original Pokemon lore. Theme. Original sin based on the current Pokemon world. In the distant past, when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was still blurred, there was a woman and her companions. Every day they were bored, so they would often catch Slakoth living in the nearby forest. They played cruel games with the captured Slakoth, sometimes killing them for fun, gouging out their eyes or cutting off their ears. What the f? One day the woman was walking alone in the forest and saw a Slakoth hanging from a tree. She climbed the tree to catch it, but slipped and injured herself. At that moment, a Vigoroth appeared. This Vigoroth had a torn ear. The woman, startled, tried to flee but injured her leg too much. She couldn't move. The Vigoroth with the torn ear suddenly attacked her when it saw her. The woman lost consciousness. When she woke, she was in an unfamiliar place. Before her lay a clear lake surrounded by trees from which many Slakoth and Vigoroth were hanging. All the Pokemon bore wounds somewhere on their bodies, marks left by the woman and her companions. Oh, I know where this is going. Upon closer inspection, she noticed that some of the Slakoth hanging in the trees were corpses. They were the very Slakoth that the woman and her friends had killed and discarded. The Slakoth were throwing those corpses into the lake. Terrified, the woman tried to run away, but a Slaking appeared. The Slaking also had a torn ear. The woman realized this was the same Vigoroth she had seen earlier, and fear overwhelmed her, causing her to faint once more. When the woman regained consciousness, she found herself at the entrance of the forest near her home, surrounded by her friend. They carried her back to her house. Sometime later, the woman gave birth to a child, but it wasn't a human child. It was a Slakoth. Oh my god. What the f? They banged her? Oh my god. The Pokemon banged her, bro? What the? She never intended to abandon it, but couldn't bring herself to do it. She stopped meeting with her friends and decided to raise the Slakoth. One day, her friends, concerned about her, visited the area near her home. They found Slakoth sleeping there. The child of the woman, as they always did, they caught the Slakoth, stabbed it in the chest, and killed it. They took its corpse and headed to the woman's house. When she saw the slain Slakoth, the woman was overwhelmed with sorrow. She grabbed Slakoth's body and ran deep into the forest. Her friends, shocked, chased after her. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the surroundings suddenly opened up, and they found the same clear lake from before, around where the many Slakoth and Vigoroth. The woman stood before the lake, holding the lifeless body of Slakoth. She threw herself into the water. Afterwards, the friends began to treat Slakoth as companions, just as she had in her final moments. Is there more? What's this? Cool cut content, beta spreads behind the scenes info. Finding out the Pokemon devs are gooners and furries. Dude, can I show you proof that the Game Freak people have always been gooners? I think it's 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 VMAX. Bro, if they're not gooners, what the f is this card art? What the f are they having 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 do on this photo, bro? Are you kidding me? These people are sick f, and they've always been sick f. Ain't Norway. It's the same pose as Samus Dumper, man. It's fucked up. I gotta read this. I've been wanting to read this for forever. Okay, we're gonna read all this. All right, they're called Game Freak. I know, man. I know. The collapse of culture and relationships. There was a time when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was blurred. You guys want me to go full narrator mode? You guys want to get immersed into the Pokemon smut? Oh, here we go. Do you guys want Deckard Cain? We can Deckard Cain reads Pokemon to Twitch chat if you guys want. Yeah, go full Dave. All right, you got it, man. Let it wash over me. You got it, bro. Headphones are recommended. There will be no yelling. There was a time when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was blurred. In a coastal village, there was a man. One day, as he was walking along the shore, he found a female Octillery washed up on the beach. The man had relations with the Octillery. And threw it back into the sea. The next day, he went to the same spot and found the same Octillery. He once more had relations with it and threw it back into the sea as before. Okay. One night, after several days have passed, the man had a dream. In the dream, the Octillery spoke to me. I cannot come to you. but I will deliver our child to you. It is our child. Yours and mine. The next morning, the man went to the place where he'd met the Octillery. There, he found a boy. The man took the boy home and raised him. Time passed. The boy grew into a young man, and the father passed away. The young man was always lonely. One day, as the young man was walking along the shore, he saw a group of people playing in the distance. They all held very large swords in their hands as they danced. The young man approached the people. As he got closer, he saw that 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉 were playing along at the beach. When he tried to get even closer, the 𝙀𝙀𝙉 suddenly leapt into the sea all at once. However, one of the 𝙀𝙀𝙉 lingered, looking around 3 times before swimming away. At the spot where the 𝙀𝙀𝙉 had been playing, there was a large sword lying on the ground. It was a shape he had never seen before, and it was very sharp and pointed. The young man took the sword home. The next day, the young man took the sword and went into the forest. While walking through the forest, he encountered an 𝙀𝙀𝙔. He tried slashing at the 𝙀𝙀𝙔's mouth with a sword, and the mouth was easily severed. Next, he stabbed at the 𝙀𝙀𝙔's eyes. They were easily pierced. Finally, the young man thrust the sword into 𝙀𝙀𝙔's chest, and 𝙀𝙀𝙔 died effortlessly. What the fuck, man? That day, the young man killed 30 𝙀𝙀𝙔. Why? After that, he always carried the sword with him, playing by injuring the Pokemon he encountered or cutting off parts of their bodies. One autumn, while the young man was searching for firewood, he lost his way. After walking for a while, he stumbled upon 𝙀𝙀𝙔's den. Inside, there was an elderly 𝙀𝙀𝙔 lying down. The elderly 𝙀𝙀𝙔 looked at the young man and said, "Come inside." The young man hesitated, but as it was getting darker, he entered the den. Before long, people began to enter the den one after another, filling the room completely. Looking closer, he saw that all the people had scarred faces. Some were missing eyes. They were chatting among themselves, but the young man ignored them and fell asleep. At one point, he woke up to find the elderly 𝙀𝙀𝙔 lying beside him. He fell asleep again. When he woke once more, there were many people around, talking about something. Again, the young boy nearly went back to sleep. When spring arrived, the elderly 𝙀𝙀𝙔 spoke. "Do you want to go home? Then I shall send you home. When you return, a whale lord will be found near the village. Go there, we will send a man. You must leave the sword behind and bring a witness." "Why did you do such things, cutting faces and slicing off noses?" The elderly 𝙀𝙀𝙔 escorted the young man back to the village. Upon his return, the young man recounted everything that happened to the villagers. The following morning, the young man took some villagers with him and headed to the shore. As they walked along the coast, they found a large whale lord. Nearby on the beach was a teddy ursa. When it noticed the young man, the teddy ursa hid in the forest, and a large 𝙀𝙀𝙔 came out in its place. As the 𝙀𝙀𝙔 charged at him, the young man tried to draw the sword that he had hidden, but it got stuck, and he couldn't pull it out. So he rushed the 𝙀𝙀𝙔 with his bare hands. The young man and the 𝙀𝙀𝙔 grappled, punching each other's faces. They strangled each other with all their strength, and so they choked each other to death, collapsing on top of one another. The villagers went back and told the others what they had seen. So, the 𝙀𝙀𝙔 were just like humans? Is that what it is? TikTok video about the Typhlosion thing.
Typhlosion kidnapping and...
Hold up. Hold up. I want to read it. I want to read it myself. Is this the Typhlosion one? Okay. This is the one I gotta read, and then we'll watch the video. I have to read this. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure there's not anything super weird in this. Nah, that's probably fine. Who cares? Here we go. Long ago, when the boundary between Pokemon and humans were unclear, there was a village somewhere. One day, the girl from that village went to the mountains to go gather firewood. She found well-dried dead wood deep in the forest, so she kept going further in. Before she realized the sun was setting and she had lost her way, around her, there were droppings from a Typhlosion, which made the girl anxious. Just then, a man appeared from the other side of the forest. His face didn't resemble anyone from the village, but he was very handsome. The man said, "You must be lost, right? I know the way down the mountain, but with your pace, it would be midnight until we get there. I'll take you back tomorrow morning, so why don't you rest at my place tonight?" The girl had no choice but to agree to the man's suggestion. The man took her hand and began to walk. As the evening fell, they arrived at a large cave. "This is my home. You must be hungry, right? Wait here." Saying that, the man went outside the cave. After he left, a red light shone from far away mountains, and there was a sound of trees swaying. Before long, the man returned carrying many red berries. He said, "Eat this and let's sleep for the night. Even if you wake up before I do, don't look at my face." The next morning, when the girl woke up, the man was still asleep. She honored their promise and stayed lying down, waiting. Before long, she fell back asleep. She was awakened by the man's voice. When she looked outside, the sun was already setting. "Today we'll eat green berries. Wait here." With that, he went out of the cave. After he left, the same red light shone from far away, and the sound of red trees swaying echoed once more. By the time the sun had set completely, the man returned carrying many green berries. He said, "Eat this and then sleep for the night. Even if you wake up before I do, don't look at my face." The girl expressed her concern that her family would be worried and that she wanted to go home soon. The man yawned widely and tapped her on the head. At that moment, she completely forgot about her family and her home. The two of them ate green berries together and then fell asleep. The same routine continued with them waking up, the sun set, man going out and gather berries, two of them eating and sleeping together. Eventually, the girl realized that the man was a Typhlosion. Okay. All right. As winter approached, the Typhlosion dug deeper into the cave and said to the girl, "Go and gather wood for firewood, break off the branch from the higher parts of the trees." All right. The girl tried to do so as the Typhlosion instructed, but the tall trees scared her. She could only climb the shorter ones. When she brought back some branches, Typhlosion said, "That won't do. If it's not from higher branches, humans will find us." When the snow began to fall, the two of them lived together in the depths of the cave, mostly sleeping. There was plenty of food. Occasionally, they would wake up, eat, and go back to sleep. One day, when she awoke, the girl was holding a child. After several days and nights passed, the Typhlosion said, "Your father's looking for you, but you are my wife, so I can't return you. I will have to fight him." The girl pleaded, "Please don't do that. Don't kill my father. How can I live with you if you kill my family? You're a good person, so please stay with me here and sleep." "All right, let's stay here and sleep." The man nodded. The next night, the Typhlosion woke. The girl said, "Your father's close by. Go and see." When the girl went outside, a snowstorm was raging. She climbed a low tree and broke off a branch. When she returned to the cave, the Typhlosion was singing a song she never heard before. "You broke off a branch, didn't you? Soon your father will come here. I'm going to do something bad to your father. If I am killed, take my eyes, my voice, and my heart. Build a fire at the spot where I was killed and burn them. And while they burn, sing this song until the fire goes out." The girl said, "Please don't do it. Don't kill my father. If anyone is killed, let it be you. Goodbye. We will never meet again." With those words, Typhlosion went outside. After a while, there was a loud noise, and when the girl looked outside, she saw her father had killed the Typhlosion. She rushed out and said, "Father, you have killed my husband. I have been living with him all this time. He was my husband. Please give me my husband, the Typhlosion's eyes, voice, and heart." What? The girl built a fire at the place where Typhlosion had been killed and put his eyes, voice, and heart into the flames. She sang the song Typhlosion and taught her until the fire burned out. The girl's father built a small hut on the edge of the village for the girl to let her child live in. Eventually, spring arrived. The young men in the village often teased and tormented the girl and her child. It became worse over time, and one day she tried to drape a Typhlosion's pelt over them. The girl returned home and pleaded with her parents. "Please tell the villagers to stop teasing us. If they put that pelt on us, he will surely become a Typhlosion. We are already half Typhlosion as it is." What the f*** is this? Despite the parents' pleas, the villagers did not listen. In fact, they found it even more amusing and eventually draped the Typhlosion pelt over the girl and her child. At that moment, they howled loudly and vanished to the depths of the forest. The two were never seen again. And some people can understand that Typhlosion are half human beings. Wait, no shot.
Kidnapping and manipulating a girl to give birth to a half-human, half-Pokemon offspring was inspired by actual Japanese mythology. The insane Typhlosion story that went viral is based on a yokai named Mujina. Yokai are supernatural creatures, spirits, or demons from Japanese folklore. In Japanese mythology, the Mujina is a shape-shifting spirit. Whose main purpose is to deceive human beings. Now let's look at the insane Typhlosion story. It starts off with a girl traveling to a mountain forest far away from civilization, only to meet a handsome male figure as night falls. He takes her into his cave, but proceeds to mind control her to prevent her from leaving and sleeps with her. She notices that during their sleep, the man's disguise disappears to reveal his true Typhlosion form. She then ends up pregnant and develops Stockholm Syndrome as the father rescues her and murders the Typhlosion. This leads her back to her village where everyone makes fun of her for having a half-Pokemon child, throwing the hide of a dead Typhlosion onto her and her child, which turns them both into full Typhlosion creatures. I don't know who let Game Freak cook this, because even the original folklore isn't that fucked up. But let me know what you think, because
I think that's mad funny. Bro, that's not even that bad. That's not even that bad, bro. Addressing the allegations. That's psychotic, dude. Bro, they need to let Pokemon do that lore in their games. Straight up, bro. Dude, if Pokemon Z and A is like that shit, man, oh my god. Like, brother, that shit will be fire, bro. That shit will be fire. Hopefully, the more Tectone clip channel, it clipped all that and put it on the stream.